Oh, boys, what is good? What is good? What is good? I am excited. I'm excited. Why am I excited? I'm still in it. I'm still in it. Sweet 10 review. Shout out to Jared, who is in Tampa right now. Shout out to Jared. But I'm in it. I have a chance. I was talking with Austin about this. I need some things to go my way. But in 2 weeks, I paused 2 weeks with only 2 weeks to go. If things go a certain way, I could be in the playoffs. And you know what? Next week, about a week from today, I could be sitting here like my season's done. Because Timmy's not a slouch. This upcoming week's not a slouch. I'm not going to make this seem like that at all. Because he is not. His team, as you'll see in the rankings, I have respect on his name. But whew, your boy's got a chance. And it came down to Monday night. A 149 to 148 game. It was really even closer. Literally by like 0.6 points I won. Why? Because thank God the 49ers got the ball with 2 minutes left. Or over 2 minutes left. And they went to a 2-minute warning on second down, not on first down. Because they would have just kneeled it 3 times. But with it being second, Mitchell lost like 4 or 5 yards. I was like, you got to be kidding me. But then a 6-yard run, then a 4-yard run, put me over the top. Let's get it going. My team put up a $149 this week. Best performance of the week for me. Best game of the week. Jared put up 140 on me the first time, blew the doors off me. He tried to up it, put a $148. We knew he was coming. I knew he was coming. We knew he was coming with it. He wanted the smoke. We brought the smoke. Trade for Patty Mahomes. But Buddy puts up 50. 405. High five of touchdowns. Love it. Michael Carter got himself a touchdown in a blowout loss from Buffalo. Whatever. Elijah Mitchell only 9. He's playing a solidish Rams team. Solidish Rams defense, let me say. A really good Rams team. Solidish defense this year. They have pieces, but they haven't been that great. CeeDee Lamb. You couldn't do this the other week. I could be 5-5 looking pretty. But right now, I'm looking like I have to be a little... Luck's got to be on my side more because of you. Mike Williams did what Mike Williams does. As I've said all year, boom, bust. And he's only boomed like 2 or 3 times this year. Then we got George Kittle. He's back. Let's go. I love that. Dearness Johnson, cooking. Even in a blowout loss, he was still cooking. He didn't get a touchdown, but he got me 15. The Colts defense, good pick up there. That's what I like to see. They played the Jags. How could you miss that? And Nick Folk, cool. He had Derek Carr put up about 25. Christian McCaffrey had a good game, 16. Dalvin Cook had 17.8. Debo and Tyreek Hill combined for 45. Dan Arnold has 8. Darrell Williams has 20. His defense has 5. Greg Joseph has 10. You can't say anything about Jared's team this week. It's not like he dipped or anything. He didn't make any wrong decisions. His whole team balled out. It's just he lost by 1. He put up a $148.65. Like, you can't hate on someone for that. Oh, but boys, we got We've got David Montgomery coming back next week. Elijah Mitchell. I traded CeeDee Lamb for Justin Jefferson, knowing my luck this year. That will bite me. I don't care. Even though CeeDee's playing the Chiefs. Chiefs have been only allowed 12.6 points of the last 3 games. And then Green Bay has been arguably the best defense in the league this year. So obviously Justin Jefferson's got something to go up. But they don't have Jair. They haven't really had him all year. Hasn't mattered for people. But you never know. Division game, we can hope. Anyways, I'm lit. Second game. Camden beat up on Ira. Ira, you're the worst team in our league. Sorry to say. This year just didn't work out for you. Why? Injuries. Russell Wilson being out. That was terrible. Chris Carson hasn't been healthy. You got Saquon for me a few weeks ago. Hasn't been healthy. Miles Sanders got out. You got Clyde Edwards-Helaire in a trade. Hasn't been healthy. Like, your team just hasn't been healthy and consistent at all, and that is cause for your team to fold. And this week, your team didn't want to come to play. You got Devontae Freeman, didn't really want to play against Miami. You got the Saints defense, against the Titans. Justin Tucker, the Ravens didn't show up. Keenan Allen was what he projected to be, solid. You got Cortland Sutton, didn't do a damn thing. Mark Ingram was your best player by far, only person in double digits. Melvin Ingram, I bet. He's a Chief. Melvin Gordon, 8.3. That's what you expect from him. he's literally going to get around like anywhere from 6 to 8 points. It all depends if he gets a touchdown or not, if he was a really good player or if a solid play. And then Carson Wentz didn't have a good game at all against the Jags, which is kind of shocking. Camden on the other side was missing Alvin Kamara, so that makes sense. Robert Woods is out for the year. So he's got a couple of pieces, but he's got Terry McLaurin, DJ Moore, Mike Evans, so he's fine. Travis Kelce. At this point, we all know everybody's teams. Leonard Fournette had a solid week. Antonio Gibson had a surprisingly really good week. Not fully surprising, only due to the fact that running backs against Tampa do well who are receiving backs, and he was running the ball pretty well. Tampa the last couple weeks has been a little shaky against the run for what they are capable of being the number one defense for rush defense the last 3 years. Matt Stafford, dud. Travis Kelce, solid. Mike Evans, solid. Bills, solid. I mean, they played the Jets. What do you expect? So, Camden's good. Camden's very good. Thing with him is he going to get consistent play from his wide receivers? We'll see what DJ Moore is now with Cam instead of Sam Darnold. Sam Hey Arnold, literally football head, can go sit on the sideline and go sit with Stoop Kid. Like, no, Sam Darnold needs to go. He wasn't, like, we understand Sam Darnold just needs to stay on the side, back up. Maybe someone can resurrect him, but he needs to just stay on the side. Terry McLaurin's going to be up and down. He's with the football team, and it's Taylor Heineke. Taylor Heineke's actually solid. It's just some weeks he's going to have a big week, some weeks he won't. Really, that's all it comes down to. Mike Evans is going to have a pretty good to really, really good week every week. Obviously, we know what Travis Kelce is. He's finally going to be back. Matt Stafford was hoping if he gets out of this slump of, let me throw pick six. He's pick six city. But yeah, it's going to be interesting to see how Camden's team does moving forward. He's not as scary as he once was. His team's kind of came down a little bit. Still very, very good. Still could win it all. I'm not saying he can't. Not trying to make it sound like he's bad. But his team's a little worse than it once was. We got Austin versus Joe. Joe, a little kind of a tough loss. Not a tough loss in the sense of who you're playing. A tough loss because of the position you're in. You need to win every game by now. Like now, 8-6, as I've said all year, will probably be the playoffs. Possibly 7-7, just because people could beat up on other people. But every win matters. You have Patrick Mahomes. You win. As you said, quarterback killer is what your team is. So you should go from Quarterelli Ponder to quarterback killer. This is what your team name should be. Because Tom, he lost me money in bets. Literally after him coming off a bye against a not good team, I was expecting 41-20. Literally was the prediction. Tom with 5 touchdowns. He did not do that, clearly. Patterson, he also may be hurt, too, which hurts Joe. Josh Jacobs, The Raiders, So with Tom Brady being Chris Godwin was DK Metcalf was because Russell Wilson has no hand. Mark Andrews, good. James Robinson, good. Panthers defense, good. Chris Boswell, good. Cool. On Austin's side, we got Josh Allen, had a good game. Had a pretty good game. Josh Allen was definitely capable of more. Darrell Henderson, Najee Harris, solid game. You would expect him to do more against Detroit, but, when you tie against Detroit, you might as well have lost the game. Deontay Johnson, I mean, he also had Mason, Kevin Rudolph, let it rock. Let it rock. Like, whatever. A.J. Brown played like Charlie Brown. He just wasn't there. It wasn't always him. Ryan Tannehill did miss him a few times. I can't say it was just A.J. Brown. But his game, T.J. Hawkinson. Might as well have been T.J. Santa. Did nothing. Absolutely nothing. Didn't record a fantasy stat. But I won Austin the week, though. Ramondre Stevenson decided to look different. He was different. The Patriots are looking good. For people who thought we were going to be dead, let's go. The Patriots defense played well, and then Tyler Bass has been one of the best kickers in the league, especially when you have such a high-powered offense. So Austin's good. He also has A.J. Dillon with, why Aaron Jones. I'm so bad at this. With Aaron Jones out, so AJ Dillon is going to be a fantasy play for the next couple weeks. I think AJ Dillon. I think Aaron Jones is going to be out for like 2-ish weeks. I wouldn't rush him. They don't need to. AJ Dillon can catch out of the backfield, power back, also got a little bit of speed. Like, there's no need for them to rush him back, especially with them looking at the 1 seed. You want him healthy for the playoffs. You don't need that. And we got Timmy and Justin. Justin's first loss of the season. But we can't really blame that. Herbert didn't have a good game. Jonathan Taylor was poised to drop 40. 92 yards and a touchdown after the first quarter. Then they do their cool thing where it's like, we can't run Jonathan Taylor a lot. Like, it's like they talk to themselves and they're like, okay, you know what? He's averaging 5, 6, 4.5 yards a clip depending on the game. We only won by 6, but we don't need to run him 21 times. He should be touching the ball 25 to 30 times a game. He's the best player on that offense, including the quarterback. There is no reason why he shouldn't be touching the ball more. And he's still the number 1 running back in fantasy with not touching the ball as much as he should. Just shows how good he really is. Tony Pollard had a solid week. I mean, everyone on the Cowboys had a solid week. They won 43-3. Blew the doors off the Falcons. Justin Jefferson, big week. Hunter Renfrow, good week. He's been very good since Henry Ruggs did Henry Ruggs things, I guess. And since that moment, Hunter Renfrow's actually become a person because they need a receiver. So he's the number 1 target. He's reliable, doing his thing. Pat Freiermuth did nothing because no one on the Steelers did anything, not named Najee Harris and James Washington. He scored a touchdown. Tyler Higbee, the Cardinals' defense wasn't good. Cam Newton came back, and they just didn't know what to do. And then Daniel Carlson, the Raiders didn't do anything. We got Dak for Timmy. Dak played phenomenal. Dak had phenomenal. He may have had to throw the weekend with that throw to CeeDee Lamb. Oh, my God, back foot, back at the end zone, just a beauty. James Conner played a solid game. I expected him to do a little bit more because I figured the Cardinals would definitely be more competitive, especially with what they did the 49ers the week before. But Javonte Williams didn't really do anything. Cooper Kupp, even in a bad game, still had 12 because it's Cooper Kupp and he'll do that. Devontae Adams didn't really have a great game. He could bust this week. Kyle Pitts, Michael Pittman, solid. The Ravens defense was Randy Bullock was good. So DeAndre Swift was on his bench. He ran the ball. He looked like Barry Sanders with the attempts that they were giving him. They just fed him. They're like, you know what? Jared Goff, you're not playing this week. You don't worry about it. We got you. What you're gonna work on is that hike, handoff, and fake rollout because we want to make sure that the defense thinks you're gonna roll, even though we know we're not going to. Don't worry about throwing the ball. In that slop fest of a game. That game was disgusting. I watched the end of it. Disgusting. I was disgusted. Anyways, Devin Singletary, the Buffalo Bills running backs only play well in wins. Like, if they win for some reason, they blow people out. And if they're blowing people out, then they run at the end of the game and they just get like late touchdowns. So that's with them. And then Jacoby Myers had a good game because pretty much everyone on the Patriots had a good game because they killed. Timmy's team, top to bottom, very good. Timmy's team is very, very good. He went from the worst team in our league to a top 5 team in our league. I will tell you exactly where he is in about 5 minutes. But top, he has no holes receiving wise. Michael Pittman, Cooper Kupp, Devontae Adams. Again, as James Conner, especially with Chase Edmonds being out, is going to be a very, very solid play every week. DeAndre Swift is proving more every week that he's going to be very good, especially with Jamal Williams out. If Jamal Williams is going to stay out, then DeAndre Swift is going to be someone that you got to play. So, and he's got Myles Gaskin, who will do fine against teams that are bad. So they're playing the Jets this week. He probably should have a good week. And then Dak Prescott, we know what Dak Prescott is. Last game of the week, ugly. This week was kind of ugly. Like, no one, other than me and Jared, no one broke 100. So it was kind of just like a weird week, and then me and Jared decided to just boom. But 81-76, Aaron Rodgers was meh. I mean, he hadn't played in a few, obviously with the whole COVID thing and blah, 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 whatever. And listen, he was, obviously after the interception, he was being smart. He was like, okay, Russell Wilson can't play. He's not that great right now. He came back definitely too early because his hand definitely sucks right now. And our defense is top 5 in the league. I'm just going to hand this thing off. Like, I don't need to do crazy things. I don't need to try to do way too much. I'm just going to hand this thing off. A.J. Dillon and Aaron Jones, when he was healthy, just going to run all over him. Aaron Jones played well until he got hurt in the third quarter. Austin Eckler played a pretty solid game. Marquise Brown, the whole Ravens. When the Ravens don't play well, Marquise Brown doesn't play well. When the Ravens do play well, Marquise Brown has a good game. Marquise Brown has had 3 bad games, and they were against Detroit, they were against the Chargers, and it was against Miami. Just, those are the only bad games he's had. Stephon Diggs, finally. I know Tyler is pumped. Finally, Stephon Diggs did Stephon Diggs things. I mean, before he was playing solid, but he wasn't doing that. Darren Waller this year, I don't know really what's been up with him. Darren Waller's obviously a very, very good tight end, top 5 in the league, but he's been this year. Rams defense, was in this week, and then Harrison Butker had a good week because when you drop 41, you're going to have a good week. Then we got Joey's team. Lamar Jackson, week. He did not play great against the Dolphins at all. Zeke had a very good week. Touchdown-wise, he didn't really have to run for any yards. He just got 2 touchdowns, which is really all you need. Jordan Howard was solid. Then Amari Cooper was Adam Thielen was Dawson Knox coming off of an injury was It wasn't good, I can say 1.7. Van Jefferson does 5.4. You don't really expect much more from Van Jefferson unless he gets a big touchdown. Bucs defense had 6, was fine. And then Brandon McManus had 6. So Joey just kind of solidified him not making the playoffs. Like, it's possible for everybody mathematically to still make the playoffs, but they would have to have, because of where they are, Joey has a better chance than Ira because I believe I think the top tiebreaker is points 4. So if Joey was to have tied records with everybody, he would definitely get that tiebreaker because he's been putting up points. So that's the week recap. Very interesting week this last week. A week that I am pumped about because that win changes everything. And every single week now, that loss to Joe is going to hurt. Looking at my losses, I can take all of them. I can take every single one of them except for that one to Joe. That one's going to hurt big time. Anyway, but he made it up to me by trading me Mahomes. So I appreciate that. I really do. Because I believe he offered that to me. So, coming up for this week before I get into our rankings. Me versus Timmy, huge game for me. This game is pivotal for me. I mean, I need to win out pretty much. But this game versus Timmy is huge. Huge. I need a dub. Timmy doesn't need one, but a loss hurts because I win and Timmy loses. I go above him because I'd have more points. So Timmy needs this game too. Then we got Austin versus Jared. Jared needs to stay in it. If Jared's to stay in it, he needs to win pretty much every game throughout. Austin, obviously 6-4. He's sitting in a solid spot, but a loss or two changes his fortunes. Everything's big. We got Justin, who games don't matter for anymore because he could lose every single game and will make the playoffs and possibly would be the 1 seed still. And then we've got him versus Ira. Ira would have to win out and things would have to go extremely perfect because of his points for. Extremely perfect. This is big for me and Timmy as well. And Joe DeZazzo. Jared. Tyler plays Camden. One of those teams is going to drop to 6-5. They drop to 6-5. that turns this team, the 6-5 team, one game back, either tied with Timmy or one game back from me or Joe. Very, very, very interesting. Or Jared, too. So that game's huge. Huge for us. And then we got Joe versus Joey. Joey is never a slouch because his team can put up points. His team can go off. So he is never a slouch. You never go into a Joey game like, this is a cakewalk. Because it's not. It's not a cakewalk. Regardless, he's made some trades. Obviously, his team's not the same as it was before. But his team's still not bad at all. It's not bad at all. And then we got Joe, who his team is very, very good. He's got pieces and everything. He just needs... His players just need to be consistent. And he needs to make sure they're all healthy. But, I mean, obviously he can't do that. He's not the team. So, huge week. What I personally want, I want Joey to beat Joe, Camden to beat Tyler. Doesn't matter if Ira beats Justin. That game's irrelevant to me. I need Austin to beat Jared, and I need to beat Timmy, clearly. But that is that. I am pumped. So the rankings for this week, I've got it here. I'm going to post it. I got it here. I got the little tier thing again. So at number 10, we got Ira. As I said, I think he's the worst team in our league. At 9, we got Joey. Joey's team is good, and that's the thing about our league. Every team, even Ira when fully healthy, is good, but every team is good. It's just the consistency level. And Joey, your team has definitely taken a hit. Obviously, Nick Chubb, you losing that, but you also got Damian Harris, who was solid. You got Zeke still. You gave up, obviously, Fournette, and Chase Edmonds is injured. Adam Thielen hasn't been exactly what you were hoping him to be. We know what happened. So you're at 9. You are 3-7, even though you've put up a lot of points. Still, you don't have the same team as you did when you were putting up all those points. And you're good, but you're just not there. 8 is Joe. So that's tier 1. And the last tier is 1, 2, 3 Cancun. Because your season's pretty much over in my opinion. Cancun on 3. 1, 2, 3 Cancun. So you guys can book your plane tickets. And 2 or 3 of these people in this next tier could be booking the game, including me. I could be booking it right next to you. So, I'm not afraid to say, Ira, save me a seat right next to you. Put the commissioner and co-commissioner next to each other on the flight. But I'm going to go, 1, 2, 3 Cancun. This next, Best Be Weary. We got at 8, Joe. We got 7, Jared. I think Jared's got more high talent than Joe. I think Joe is still a very good team, and Joe can compete with anybody. But the thing about this league this year is everybody can compete with everybody. You never really have those weeks where you're like, that's a garbage team. So you got 7, Jared. 6, I have me. You could switch me and Jared, and I would not be mad. You could honestly switch me and Joe, and I wouldn't be terribly upset. I went through and compared our rosters. I think mine healthy, full, is a touch better than Joe. And Jared, I think I'm a little more consistent-ish. Fully independent on 2. Because Jared's tight end hasn't been there. His flex is But that's really that. But you can also say mine is. If you have Jared ahead of me, fine. I beat him this week. We have the same record. That's why I put myself there. Fine. 5, Tyler. Tyler, your team is boom or bust, but you best be wary about this group. This group all has the capability to beat anybody at any given week, so it's right there. It is right there for us. Just don't ever go and be like, this is a cakewalk. 4, it's going to shock people a little bit. I have Camden 4. Why do I have Camden 4? I think it is hard to fully trust his team at the moment. I like Jalen Hurts and I like Matthew Stafford. Antonio Gibson obviously doesn't always have to play, but Antonio Gibson and Terry McLaurin, it's really hard to trust the football team offensively. Leonard Fournette, solid, we know what he is. Mike Evans, solid, we know what he is. DJ Moore, very good player. Will he get the ball? Will he be able to be a really good player? Travis Kelce, the Chiefs are coming out of their slump. Travis Kelce is going to be Travis Kelce. Alvin Kamara is Alvin Kamara. Regardless, he's going to touch the ball because it's Alvin Kamara. The Bills' defense has been very good, and then Graham Gano. But, like, his team's really good. There's just a little too many question marks to say. He has a little bit more question marks to me than Timmy does. I have Timmy at 3. And that could be controversial. People cannot agree with that. Don't really care. That could be I don't really care at all. I have Timmy at 3. I think that if you compare quarterbacks, I'm taking Dak. Antonio Gibson or DeAndre Swift, I'm taking DeAndre Swift. Leonard Fournette or James Conner, I'm going to take Leonard Fournette there. But then really what pulls him away is the receivers. Cooper Kupp or Mike Evans. Devontae Adams or DJ Moore. We know what he's doing here. You can even, if you really want to go with it, you can go Travis Kelce or Devontae Adams. Like, I'm sorry, Travis Kelce's really good, but I'm taking Devontae Adams. Cooper Kupp, and you just compare it. Obviously, Alvin Kamara is going to put him at a spot where he's higher, but like I think when you break down the top tiers, that they can even clash out, I think that Timmy's roster is a little better at the back end. 2, I've got Austin. Oh, sorry. That's a tier itself. That's caution, wet floor. Why do I say caution, wet floor? These teams are really good, but proceed with caution. Camden, both you guys are coming off of wins this week, but you guys are both in situations to where you can be a little slippery of a slope. You guys are fine. You guys can walk across the floor just fine. You guys can get where you need to go. Just be cautious. Wet floor. 2, Austin. Winning and improving. Got Nick Chubb, and he won. That's really all you have to say. Got Nick Chubb, he won. He's 6-4. When healthy, his team, very, very good. That's really all you have to say about that. Nick Chubb plus a win. Winning and improving. Justin, regular season doesn't matter. Because it doesn't matter. I was talking with him today. Really, the only thing he's got to worry about is if Derrick Henry fully can't come back, his flex, But with Jonathan Taylor, Jamar Chase, Joe Burrow or Herbert, you've got now CeeDee Lamb. They all have the potential to go for 25 plus. All obviously the quarterbacks, but the players have the potential to go for 25 plus, and Joe Mixon as well. You can make up, if you can just get 7 to 9 points from Tony Pollard or whomever he throws in as flex, you're fine. Because even though he's projected for 13, you think Jonathan Taylor is going to go off. I don't care what defense he's playing against. He's playing against the Bills. I think he could have a really good game because he's just that good, and the Colts offensive line is just really good. They've got a lot of talented pieces on that offensive line. So, Justin, regular season doesn't matter. Your season's contingent on Derrick Henry, in my opinion. You get Derrick Henry back, and he runs like Derrick Henry. When the playoffs start, you've pretty much locked it up. Obviously, it's fantasy, but you're good. You've won it all, in my opinion. If not, then teams can play with you. Like, I think whoever's in that 4 spot, that first week's going to be a tough week for you if there's no Derrick Henry. If there is Derrick Henry, I think you should blow through them. But anyways, that is this week. I'm excited. I'm so excited. But I'm excited. My season's still here. The playoffs are a chance. It's outside. I may be grabbing for the air. I may be trying to pull something in that's not there. But you know what? The Patriots didn't lose hope when it was 28-3 against the Falcons. We saw what happened. We saw what we did. So I can't lose hope. Even 1-2-3 Cancun boys, you can't lose. You don't need to lose hope because there's still a possibility that you guys can get in the playoffs. There's still a possibility. You play every week to win because obviously there is no tanking in this league. Because what the hell are you tanking for? We don't have the draft picks anymore, which was a show. That was a debacle of a situation. Thank God we're never doing that again. Trading draft picks, unless it's draft day or the day before, we are not doing that again. I'm really hoping we don't do that again. Keeper league, that can be kept over there in a safe in the ocean. We do not need a keeper league either. I love where this league is going. I love doing these reviews. They're fun. I was supposed to have Camden on this week. I'm going to have him on next week because we'll be able to line up our schedules more, especially coming off a big week for Camden. I'd like to see his talk. I'd like to hear what he has to say. I still need Justin. I still need Austin. I still need Tyler. I still need Jared. I still need Joe DeZazzo. I need about 66% of our league still needs to come on and talk to me. We've got weeks left. We got like 7-8 weeks left. So I got Camden next week, gonna cross that off. And then I want to just go through. And whoever wins it all that week, I want to talk to them. Whoever wins it. So if you're planning on winning it, you plan on talking to me like week 18. I need that. Anyways. Well, this is a week 10 review. Your boy Keenan here. Excited. Good luck to everybody. Timmy, I hope I beat you, but it's a friendly competition, all love. I have you top 3. I think you've done very well with your season. I appreciate what you've done. And I appreciate you being someone in the league that people can try to take out. Like, we need that disparity in our league. We need the people you hate. We need the people you love. We need the people you don't really care about. You need the people who sleep. You need all of that in a league. And that's what we have. We have people we hate. We have people we love. People we go to. It is great. It's great. The dexterity in our league is beautiful. So, with that being said, I appreciate all of you listening in. I appreciate doing this. Week 10 review. Good luck.